What a lovely sunny day we've got for a Q&A. Let's see how many Q&As we can get before the sun goes down. At the minute, it's really hard because of the fact that we lose light at like 3, so I need to get a move on. So question number 1, do I own any Silent Hill games? They're so hard to find these days. I do indeed. I believe I own all of them, or at least the ones that matter. The platforms that they were supposed to be released on anyway. We'll go through the prices of them as well at CEX, because some of them are a little bit wild depending upon the platform that you want to get the games on. So I've got Silent Hill 1 for PlayStation 1 up here, and then I've got Silent Hill 2, not the Director's Cut, because that's a Platinum Edition only, I do believe, which is kind of annoying, because I would have been tempted by it. Also, check this out. Damage to my case caused by CEX, because it's a cardboard case. It's a cardboard slipcover. I'm really glad that I'm not a collector that aims myself at cardboard, because if I was, I think I would absolutely lose my rag with CEX stickers. I get a lot of comments about, do the stickers not bother me on things? And generally the answer is no, because on a traditional game case, it is not a problem to have to remove that sticker, because they come off really quite easily, especially if you have like just, a little bit of product. It doesn't harm the case at all. But with cardboard, it does. And when I took that sticker off, it took a bit of the cover art with it. Thankfully, I bought my Silent Hill games before the prices on them went a bit crazy. Like each one of these 3 across the top, so Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, and Silent Hill 4, each one cost me about 30 quid at the time of buying them, because it was like it was almost the first thing that I went out of my way to collect before I was really collecting passionately. It was at a time where they were like the first PS2 games I bought like as an adult, see it that way, versus, just the PS2 games that I would have had just through their existence when I was a kid. So anyway, yeah. Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, and then Silent Hill 4, The Room. And then down here we have got the Silent Hill Collection, also for PlayStation 2. And what that is it is a compilation of Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, and Silent Hill 4. For some reason, it did not have Silent Hill 1 in, but it's still pretty cool. I remember I saw it and I just couldn't turn it down due to just the cool factor of it. I then also have down here somewhere the despicable that everybody ignores, the Silent Hill HD collection for PlayStation 3. I also own the same collection again digitally for the 360, because it was my only way of playing Silent Hill 2 and 3 when I was younger. Granted, I never even did play them all the way through, because me and a friend, we bought them, we began them and got too spooked to actually get through them. And then of course, I also have the Silent Hill 2 remake from earlier this year down here, which game still never did get me the steelbook for that, so I truly think that is a lost cause. I never did send any emails pulling a Karen. I know that a lot of people said that they did a chargeback or whatever, because at the end of the day you're probably within rights to, due to the fact that you were advertised and paid for something that you in the end did not actually receive. And I'm pretty sure that there was a premium price on it as well. I think that the game version of Silent Hill 2 was like a $5 or more than any other retailer, just down to the fact that you're supposed to be getting a steelbook version and did not, which was really frustrating. Anyway, if we then come on to the other side of the room to the PSP and Xbox 360 stuff, granted, the Xbox stuff down here is a little bit of a mess at the moment because there's just not much of it, and I ran out of PS3 room and all of that sort of thing. So we've got Silent Hill Origins on PSP, because that is the console that is native for that, but the price of that on the PlayStation 2 is crazy, but it's a port. The PlayStation 2 version of Silent Hill Origins is inferior. Even through emulation, when I played through them earlier this year, the PS2 version is inferior to the PSP version, to the point where I emulated a PSP version instead. And then we've got Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This is one of the most expensive games that you can get on its PlayStation 2 version. I think that my partner bought me this for a birthday a few years ago when I was getting all the Silent Hill games, and I think she paid about £40 back in like 2022, something like that, for Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the Wii. And again, it is a Wii game. Like there's no combat in the game. It's a walking simulator where you control a flashlight, so it works well with the Wii's motion controls. And its PS2 version is like £300, £400, £500, depending upon the version that you get. We'll go take a look at the prices of them in a moment. The only one that I don't own, because I don't really consider it a real game, is Book of Memories, but I also don't have anything for the Vita, so that should really not be a surprise, really. My PC right now is being frustratingly slow. Add this to the list of reasons. See, Google Chrome is not responding. Why? Fix yourself. Sort your life out. Add this to the list of reasons why I need to upgrade. Speaking of upgrade, if you guys haven't already, do be sure to drop me a subscribe. A good third of you haven't. Let's take a look at the prices of some of these Silent Hill 2 games, these Silent Hill games. I would have shown it on the PC, but again, my PC is just not responding and I need to be making use of the light before it's gone, as I said. So the first Silent Hill game with a manual is currently £105. Silent Hill 2 is £78. This is what I'm saying, it's crazy. Silent Hill Origins for the PlayStation 2 is currently £150. That is wild. Oh, I also didn't show it, but I do have Silent Hill Downpour and Homecoming on 360 as well. I missed those back on the shelves. But I remember when I bought Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill 1, I bought them together, and I had the option of, but basically, I was going to get the PS2 version of Silent Hill Origins, but it would have been £75. And at the time, I could have, for about the same price of £75, gotten the PlayStation 1 version of Silent Hill 1 and the PSP version of Origins for the same price as the PS2 version of Origins. So for me, it was a no-brainer. So in hindsight, probably should have got Origins because of the price continuing to skyrocket. Because at some point, I would like to have Origins on PS2 and Shattered Memories on PS2 because it would be a pretty cool completionist goal to have, but it is what it is. Silent Hill Downpour continues to increase in price as well, which is getting pretty up there at £75. The HD collection is £50. The Silent Hill 3 is £65. The movie is £20. Actually, even the movie being £20 on Blu-ray is pretty crazy. Silent Hill Downpour on 360 is £62. Silent Hill Homecoming is one of the cheaper ones at £28. Silent Hill 4 is £60. And that Silent Hill Collection box set that I showed off is currently £190, whereas mine was £160. So a lot of these have like doubled in price since I got them. The Wii version of Shattered Memories is currently £65. The PSP version, so the native version of Silent Hill Origins, is £35. The PlayStation 3 version of Silent Hill Homecoming is £30. But check this out. The PlayStation 2 version of Shattered Memories, £355 there. Oh, that's cool. A limited edition steelbook of the first Silent Hill movie. It's kind of cool. The director's cut of Silent Hill 2, which again is a platinum version only, which is a bit annoying, is £70. Book of Memories, so technically the only game I'm missing of this collection is Silent Hill Book of Memories for the PlayStation Vita. But for £90 for a system I don't own, for a game that is notoriously awful, I don't care. I just can't bring myself to care. Even the PSP version of Shattered Memories is £70. That's mad. The mint versions go for even more. But hang on, what if I filter by highest price? What's the highest priced that this can get to? Let's just filter by that, because it's going to be... Yeah, so check this out. Silent Hill Shattered Memories mint $465. I suppose while we're on the topic of PSP and all of the miscellaneous consoles that I don't do much of, we'll talk about handhelds. Do I collect handheld games too? Game Boy, PSP, etc. So kind of, but not really. Recently I started getting more. So I down here, for example, I've got a bit of a box collection going on. So we've got some DS games, so Pokemon White version 2, which is pretty expensive, Luigi's Mansion 2, Pokemon Omega Ruby, and then all of the Professor Layton games, which was the main draw of this. But then on the two Game Boy games, is Legacy of Goku 1 and Legacy of Goku 2. I also would like Boo's Fury. It'd be interesting at some point to get boxed copies of all the Pokemon games, but I already have them all from my childhood, but not boxed. This is the reason why I don't tend to collect handheld stuff, is because it's not very displayable unless it's that Pokemon stuff, and even then I don't really have the space. I've never been a big Nintendo guy. Like, my Nintendo Switch collection is just over here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. And to be fair, a good half of those games are my partner's from lockdown when she was playing Animal Crossing and doing the things that all girls did during lockdown. We all remember that. But when it comes to handheld games, I've got my Nintendo DS collection in here, which I suppose I can show you guys. And then down here in this one, we've got my Game Boy Advance collection. Oh, hello, I've wrecked that. Not good. Not good. There we go, fixed it. Granted, when I say collection, I do just mean games that I have owned since their release. It's not exactly something that I've sought out like a lot of the videos that you guys see are. So most of these are going to be Pokemons from their various different releases and generations. When I obviously, because I'm not collecting these, it's just a case of I wanted to own one from each generation storyline-wise. Whenever I mention this on TikTok, there's always some smart ass that's like, oh, but Pokemon Leaf Green's technically Gen 3. I'm like, yes, but it's the story of Gen 1, and that's the point, you know? So here we've got Pokemon Ranger, Omega Ruby, Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Pearl, Leaf Green, Ranger, White version 2, White version 1, Emerald, Sapphire, Platinum, X, and Soul Silver. And there might be another one somewhere. There's a real decent chance that I've got a game or two lying inside of my DSs and Game Boys. There is also more DS games in the back of my pooch over here, but it is that's all the miscellaneous stuff that's probably a little bit less interesting. But like I was saying, when it comes to collecting Game Boy stuff, I would love to own boxed versions of the Mega Man Battle Network games. A lot of kids, when they were younger, were really obsessed with Pokemon, and I did love Pokemon, but something I loved more was the Mega Man Battle Network games. I was never able to beat them, because they were always really difficult towards the end, but I played them a lot. And then a few years ago, I played through all of them, one after another, including Star Force, and I'd like to own those as well, but they're getting decently expensive. So Mega Man Battle Network 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I do believe. And then Star Force 1, 2, and 3. I beat them all back to back, back to 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 back in 2022. And then earlier this year, I got the Legacy collection of Mega Man Battle Network on PlayStation 4, which is pretty cool as well. But obviously, they're supposed to be handheld games, and I'm also a collector, and it would be nice for nostalgia purposes to own them all physically with a box. But obviously, getting the box of those might be easier said than done, because Game Boy boxed stuff is hard to come by in and of itself. But anything outside of Pokemon seems harder still, because while most of us as kids probably did just bin our Pokemon cardboard at Christmas because we wanted to just play the game and should have kept those boxes, how silly of us to not. Who would have known that years down the line just a box for Pokemon Emerald would add 200 quid to the value of it? But it is one of them where it's definitely nice to have the boxes to look back upon now, even though I already own the games through like the Legacy collection and that sort of thing. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick Q&A, and I'll see you guys in the next one.